real deal. Straight talk to help make you a better fisherman. Brought to you by Esox Angler Magazine. The real deal on muskies, walleyes, and pike.
I'm pitching my spoon to deep water here, and the setup that I'm using is a setup that I learned how to use years ago. It's kind of like the mainstay spoon setup. I've got a heavy rod. Let me reel this in here quick, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. I've got a heavy rod and reel. This is an 8.5 foot bait caster. Actually, it's one of the trolling rods that Kavaius and I designed for Bass Pro Shops. It's real stiff, and it gives you a real good swing. You could use a 7.5 to 8.5 foot rod. Typical bait caster. The line setup will be 10 to 12 pound test. I'm using 12 pound test sensation line right now. It's got the diameter of 10 pound, but with a lot of strength. The Hopkins Spoon, Daryl will talk about the Hopkins Spoon actions in a little bit. This is a setup that's used for 3/4 ounce and 1 ounce spoons. Okay, and many people use it for shallow water, but the one thing that I found out in fishing with Daryl, and he's basically taken spoon fishing to a new level, is that when you're pitching shallower water, or especially when you're using smaller spoons, and that's the one thing that I found out in fishing with him in this trip, he loves to use small spoons. And I didn't realize how effective they could be. But for spoons that are 1/2 ounce and smaller, the 1/3 ouncer, some of them are only that long, what you want to use is a spinning rod setup. I have the same 12 pound sensation here. Again, the line diameters are the same. That is actually a pretty good choice of line. Your typical spinning rod and reel setup, I'm using a 6.5 footer here. Actually, I'm using a 7 footer here. Daryl suggested that would be a good length because I'm about 6 feet tall. He uses a 6.5 footer. He's a little bit shorter. It gives you the perfect stroke length when you're using this action on these small spoons. Spinning rods for shallow and small spoons, bait casting rods for the heavier spoons and a little bit deeper water. It works really, really well.